Greetings, people of Earth. Evan Benton of Dogg with a recap of the latest news from Antarctica. The planet's least kosher continent has hosted several high-profile visitors this year, starting in February with the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church. His Holiness, Patriarch Kirill, visited Antarctica's only permanent church, concentrated in 2004, although it was not stated why he would make such an arduous trek. Interestingly, a temporary, non-denominational chapel established at the United States McMurdo Station in 1956 has twice been destroyed by fire, first in 1978 and again in 1989. In March, the countries of Argentina and China got into a bit of a kerfluffle when Argentine naval forces sunk what was reported to be a Chinese fishing trawler for, quote, illegal fishing in territorial waters. According to Al Jazeera, quote, the boat did not heed warning calls and instead tried to ram an Argentine naval vessel. The same month, it was reported that China had started construction on a base to be used for space exploration in the Argentine province of Neuquén. Not to be outdone, in May, the United States announced plans to build its own base in the southernmost province of Tierra del Fuego. Then, on November 8th, Election Day in the United States, the State Department announced that Secretary of State John Kerry would be traveling to Antarctica, quote, to really see firsthand what's going on with climate change research. It is curious that such a high-ranking politician would be out of the country on what would turn out to be such a historic day. However, a spokesperson for Mr. Kerry announced that the timing was, quote, driven by the weather. On November 28th, Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon, made his own trip to Antarctica. Reportedly, he planned to stay as a tourist in Antarctica until December 8th, but was evacuated to New Zealand on December 1st after suffering from altitude sickness. Some websites reported that after Mr. Aldrin was evacuated, he sent and immediately deleted an ominous tweet with the message, quote, we are all in danger. It is evil itself, accompanied by a picture of what some are claiming to be a pyramid peeking out of the snow. However, several obvious flaws, such as the lack of timestamp, reveal that the tweet is a fraud. The story doesn't end there, as the first American to orbit the Earth, John Glenn, promptly died on December 8th. Now granted, Mr. Glenn was 95 years old, but that is a bizarre coincidence. At press time, no cause of death has been announced. And on December 5th, less than a month after meeting with Secretary of State John Kerry on his way to Antarctica, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, John Key, surprised almost everyone by handing in his resignation. Mr. Key offered flimsy excuses, citing family stress and stating that he has, quote, nothing left in the tank. The outgoing Prime Minister was widely expected to win re-election to his fourth term in the 2017 election, setting rumors flying as to the true reason for his sudden departure. All this amidst rumors of pyramids and lost cities being revealed by melting polar ice. The only problem there is that the Antarctic ice cap is currently at its greatest recorded extent, as reported by NASA in 2014. There are even reports of a massive crater which at least one scientist believes is evidence that the melting of the polar ice cap is increasing. Worrisome if true, but again, there is a logistical problem with that opinion, as the crater was first discovered by satellite in 1989. What is going on at the South Pole? Could it be that the existence of extraterrestrial life is finally going to be revealed? Or is this just one final false flag event from a dying New World Order? Or, as some reports suggest, could such a false flag event already have been averted? I'll leave you with some choice words from one of that order's principal actors. Thank you for watching. This has been Evan Benton of Dogg.
I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species from another planet outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war? I think maybe I'd answer it this way. I keep, in my frustration sometimes, you know, actually, if you count some of the things going on in smaller countries and all, there have been about 114 wars since World War II. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?